weird traditions that is no longer in practice. Rituals play an important role in the life of people or a community. Over the years, many rituals have been performed by humans. These rituals were passed down from generation to generation. Some of them were very dangerous and is now abolished. Here are some of those traditions which are extreme and no longer in practice. Number 7. Self-mummification of Buddhist monks. This ritual took place in Japan from 11th to 19th century. This ritual involves gradual deprivation of food and drink by the monk. This also included meditation in a confined space. These body torture will continue for several years until the monk eventually dies. The monks thought that by suffering their physical body and pushing their mental limits to the extreme, they would transcend the ordinary world and achieve a higher state of being. They also believed that they would also be more powerful than an ordinary person after death. The body of the monk will be mummified and placed in the shrine for worship. The aim of this ritual was to attain enlightenment and also to reach a state of spiritual purity. This might look barbaric to some people, but this ritual was regarded as a noble and respected pursuit in Japan as at that time. The monks who successfully completed the process were highly revered as holy men. Number 6. Sacred marriage of the Babylonians. In the old Babylonian Empire, which was former Iraq and Iran, they practiced a ritual named sacred marriages, which is also known as hieros gamos. This involves an act of reenacting the marriage between Dumuzi, the shepherd god, and Ishtar or Inanna, the goddess of fertility. During the reenactment, a woman takes the place of Inanna and would engage in sexual intercourse with the king or the high priest of the city. This ritual was considered to unleash abundant divine energy to the land, giving fertility to its women and crops. Number 5. The finger-cutting Dani tribe. The Dani tribe is a group of people who live in the highlands of Papua New Guinea. In ancient times, their ancestors performed a ritual where members of the tribe has the tips of their fingers sliced off with a sharp bamboo blades. This painfully and traumatic ritual was performed without any anesthesia or pain relief. The purpose of this ritual is to mourn the death of a family member. They believe that enduring this pain is part of the grieving process. The ritual is meant to keep the spirit of the dead relative away. Number 4. The retainer sacrifice of ancient Egypt. This is a dark ritual which involved planning of how human beings are killed. This was practiced in Egypt, Near East, and some parts of West Africa. When the king dies, his servants were buried together with him. It is presumed that the servants will continue to serve their master, the king, even in afterlife. In one of the royal cemeteries in El Kab, were accommodated with subsidiary burials. Burials were arranged in blocks and made to surround the king's tombs. Also, these subsidiary tombs were positioned based on the servant's relationship with the ruler. When these tombs were excavated, bones of dead people who were as young as 25 years were found in the tomb. It was discovered that all the dynasty kings' tombs from Aha to Ka has the same subsidiary tombs, and those tombs were positioned based on the servant's relationship with the ruler. Imagine being the king's servant in that era. Number 3. Killing of twins in West Africa. If you are a twin and you are from West Africa, especially Nigeria, you should count yourself lucky and thank God you were born in this era. Otherwise, you are considered a taboo and doomed for death at birth. You know how mothers give birth to twins and people are happy about it. It was the opposite years ago in Nigeria. Years back, giving birth to twins were considered a taboo and a curse. Whenever a woman gives birth to a twin, those children are banished into the evil forest. This is a large, thick forest that no one enters. Here, many people who committed sacrilege in the community are banished there to stay there and die. Sometimes the people are actually killed by wild animals lurking around inside the forest. That is where these children are thrown to stay there and die. Then the mother will be sent for a cleansing ritual to cleanse herself and get rid of the presumed curse so that it won't affect other women in the community or have another set of twins. So if you are twin from West Africa born in this era, you have every reason to be grateful and thank God for life. Number 2. The Bloodletting Maya Tribe. Blood rituals were common practices among Mesoamerican people, especially the Maya people. In this type of ritual, the Mayans puncture a particular part of their body. For the women, it's the cheek and the tongue. For the men, the puncturing is done on the penis. Ouch, I know that gave you some goosebumps. Then imagine the people that need to endure it. After puncturing, the blood was collected and burned as an offering. This rituals performed by the Mayans was done during significant dates in the Mayan calendar. Most common times for these rituals were during the beginning and ending of the year according to Mayan calendar, ascension of a king to the throne, beginning and ending of war, birth, death, or the marriage of a king or queen. Number 1 on this list is the Sati of India. This is one of the most painful rituals I have come across. It was performed by the Indians in 17th and 18th century, before it was banished by the British colonial government. In the 19th century, when a man dies, his widow would be burned alive on her husband's funeral pyre. This was considered an act of devotion to the husband, and was also believed to free the woman from any sins she might have committed in her lifetime. It was believed that by willingly choosing to die with her husband, the widow will attain spiritual merit and will be granted a place in heaven. The purpose is to demonstrate the ultimate sacrifice and devotion the widow had for her husband. This practice is often coerced, with the woman having little or no say over her life. The question is, what if the woman dies before the husband? Were the men also made to suffer the same fate? I guess the answer is no. He will definitely find happiness in the bosom of another woman, who would be martyred on his death pyre. History was never kind to women. Do you know any other bizarre rituals not in practice? You can drop yours in the comments section.